Hello everyone, welcome to the Alpha Inn, where we play TTRPGs and have a hoot. No howdy doody this time. I'm joined by this guy. Wonderful Benjagaba. How you doing? How's life?
Doing pretty good. Life is pretty good right now.
Yeah. Well, before we get into details of the week, who's that sponsor?
Our illustrious Kate Woolman State Farm is sponsoring. Let's see. Could do Beetlejuice.
Oh my gosh, yes. I need to hear this.
Let's see. Because he was like, hey, yeah. Right? That was kind of his voice.
Something like that.
Need guidance on life, auto, or homeowners insurance? Oh my god.
You're doing great. Yeah, that tickles.
Let's get a little hydration there.
Alright, cut.
All right.
Okay, you
cut.
ready? Alright. And take.
Need guidance on life, auto, or homeowners insurance? Contact Kate Woolman State Farm for all of your insurance needs. Rates can be more affordable than you think, and protecting what matters most to you is important. Call Ben at 719-539-6265 and I'll set you up with what you need. That's 719-539-6265.
Cut!
I don't remember what Beetlejuice sounds like, but...
That's a wrap. That was good. We could probably
I
find
hit
out,
like
actually.
straight in the throat. Like when I started, I was like...
It's like you swallowed those things that I can't remember what it's called, but there's a flap that closes your trachea when you drink water. It's like you swallowed it and then spat it out. Kind of feels weird. Like you took your vocal
Yeah, and then
cords
you
and
just
folded them
choke.
outwards. That's a very unpleasant thought. Oh boy. Okay, so I ran into something yesterday that kind of blew my mind a little bit. So we're of the age. You all don't know our exact ages, but we're of the age where we were growing up with computers becoming a thing. Like I remember doing research papers with books and no computers.
Yeah. I remember when you had to have so many book references.
Right? Yes.
Only so many could be online.
Where the whole APA thing at the end, your referencing matter stuff, where we knew how to do that by hand, where to look in books for it. Like we that's the kind of era that we started our aging with. Am I one too high? I was one too high. That would explain a lot. Stinking game randomly changing on me. The you can get an actual computer, like fully operational computer that you would want to use for like work, everyday use, just browsing on internet, things that you would probably get your parents because it's basic enough, it would fulfill all their needs. That's the size of your palm. For $160.
Yeah.
That freaking blew my mind. I was looking at that like, what the? No, I want my hunkin' tower. I want my big old baby.
Yeah.
I want that giant thing that I can look at, not this itty bitty little thing I can slip into my pocket.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy when they really focus on that compact design on like, okay, what does a computer need? And that's the only thing that's going to be in there. You can get so small.
Super small.
I mean, even gaming PCs. I have a friend of mine. It's like the size of a GameCube. And I'm just like, how? But it's efficient design. I mean, solid state drives are like this big now. They're like little chips.
Yeah, and they don't
Like-
move at all, so you've got, gosh.
So you don't need to have a whole bunch of coolers and all kinds of stuff just for your hard drive, so it takes that out.
Remember when a thumb drive, an 8 gig thumb drive, was $32?
I remember when an 8 gig thumb drive would cost you like $100.
$100.
Like, yeah.
Now we're talking
And it
2
was like,
terabyte
ooh. Yeah.
for 100.
And they're like,
and that's a solid state,
yeah. Yeah.
which we're not. The solid state didn't even exist when an 8. gigabyte thumb drive was $100. Like that
I
was a
remember
new
when our
fab
family
tech.
upgraded to a 2 gigabyte hard drive back in like it was like 90 something, and we were able to finally run Rayman or something. I was like, as a family, I was like, oh my god,
This
we
is
are
so
going
good.
places.
Oh, looking at a game download file size, 64 megabytes. That's a lot. Now we're looking at Call of Duty, 128 gigabytes. Why am I
It'll
playing
take me
this
like
game?
an hour to
An hour
download.
to download. 64 gigabytes? Oh, I better start it today. I might be done when I'm got back home from work.
Oh god. Man, I remember back in the LimeWire days,
Mm.
you know how you'd like download a music video? You had the choice. You could search for the music video or you could find the song. The music video, which was like 30 megabytes,
Yeah.
would take like,
Oh.
oh my god, I think it was like an hour or two, I think. But I remember if I just wanted to listen to the song, I would just look up the song. But I really liked music videos too, so it was always a struggle of like, okay, do I look for the music video or do I download the song first, then listen to the song while I'm waiting for the music video? It's like the whole instant you search for something and it's there. It's like back then you just didn't have that. You had to think, what do I want to listen to that's worth listening to, that'll take time to even get. And that was LimeWire. It's like that was the fast, easy way to do stuff.
Yeah.
So
And
wait
now
30 minutes for one song.
now we've got the position where you're sitting there looking at Netflix on your phone before you board the plane, debating which movie you're going to download or which movies you're going to download on your Netflix Insta Watch, so you can watch them on the plane on your phone. I was
You can offline so much stuff these days.
Yeah.
It's insane.
I'm going through a book series right now where each book is over 1,000 pages. So the audiobooks for them, which I'm listening to on my drives to and from work, which 3 hours total, everyone. I have to drive a long distance for work. But it's the one I'm listening to now is 56 hours long, and it took less than 3 seconds to download onto my phone. It was just click, swirl, done. What?
That's amazing. I've been impressed because like I just got a new motherboard and
Oh yeah, how's
I
it
mean
doing?
it makes sense. Like better network adapters can give you a better connection if it's there. But I did not understand how bottlenecked I was on my old motherboard until I got a new motherboard and just downloaded something. I'm just like, wow, I guess my internet's really fast.
The other
It's
thing
just
is
like
routers.
routers
If
too.
you have a
Yeah,
router
yeah.
that's over 3 years old, guaranteed you are not getting the internet speed you should be getting. You need to upgrade your router every now and then. BT dubs, people, never go through your internet provider for a router. They mark up the price by like 300%. Just get one off
Yeah.
like Amazon. Go to Best Buy and you'll even get a cheaper one. BT dubs, Amazon, Best Buy, sponsor us.
Please.
Come on, please. Well,
Throw affiliate
technically,
links all over the place.
thanks Amazon. You kind of are already.
Somewhat.
Throning Twitch.
Oh gosh. Oh yeah, that's true. Gosh.
So thanks for the free source of providing us being able to provide entertainment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's another thing. I remember when I was a kid, the way that we created content was we had these little tape recorders. And like all it was audio. And so I remember creating like this little news show where I was like an interviewer interviewing like a water person and then like just like different random, like I was interviewing Superman and all this kind of whatever. And then I remember when digital cameras first started to be able to like make video, and our family digital camera then started to be used to make like YouTube videos. And I kid you not, man. If I would have kept up with it, I would have been a Churdleys or something like that. Because my early YouTube was like their early YouTube.
Oh
And
my
I'm just
gosh.
like, if I would have just kept going or something, like it would have turned into something. But I now it's like back then it was like, oh, I gotta create this because putting it on YouTube is like so cool and
Mm,
it's so unique and this way to share it with everybody. I've never seen it like this before. Whereas now that's just the way things are done. And your ability to consume content is just so vast that you have to be like, okay, how do I even find things that I like? It's
yeah.
like
Yeah.
finding new things that you like is kind of a struggle sometimes because there's just so much stuff that you're just like 90% of it's garbage.
So, okay. Okay, we're gonna teeter on a line here for a moment. A
Mm.
line that you really probably shouldn't cross while you're live, but we're gonna teeter on it for for a bit, for just a moment. I forgot what my point was. What were you saying right beforehand?
Oh, I was saying how um
Our short-term memories are great.
right.
Oh, uh, video content. I was thinking about the first video that was ever posted on YouTube,
Oh, what video
which
was that?
it's just some dude in a zoo, and he was filming some giraffes. Like that was
Huh.
the first one ever posted. I found that
Uh-huh.
inside. Oh right, yes. You know those capabilities of websites to track what you're doing for advertisement reasons. Now,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of people hate those. Most people hate them for obvious reasons. They're tracking private information. Like it
Yeah.
makes sense. You've got a logical reason to hate them. By all means, that's the line that I'm teetering on because I don't hate them. I actually love them. I
Analytic
leave
sites.
them all on and I let them analyze the crap out of me. I let them suggest whatever they want because I get some fun suggestions. There are
Right.
some fun stories behind it as well. So, one of my best ones was I learned there was a Korean church down the road because I started
Mm-hmm.
getting advertisements in Korean. And at the time, I was researching and reading into the Korean alphabet and language so that I
Mm-hmm.
could create the Magus language with a
Mm.
bit of a certain flair to it. And
Mm-hmm.
I was able to read some of it and understand some of it. And it was like, this is for a church. So I went and found the church and I was like, oh hey, look at that. Another one is if if you are a father or a mother and you yourselves are not pregnant and you start seeing diaper advertisements, pregnancy test advertisements, your daughter might be pregnant. You might want to go talk to them. Because there is a story of someone, of a father finding out that their child was pregnant because they were searching those things, and he saw them through the VPN or the PN, whatever it's
Mm-hmm.
called. The terminology is escaping me. He saw it through that advertisement tracking, and found out
Wow.
that way.
Huh.
So that's another way for parents to keep track of what their kids are looking up. You'll start
Right.
getting
What ads are
advertisements.
showing up?
What ads are showing up? Pay attention to those
Mm-hmm.
things. You can read a lot about a person by what ads they see.
Because they won't show up unless, like, it's just trying to show you things that it thinks you
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
and it won't show it to you unless you've like looked for
That's how I discovered there is a computer that the size of your palm that you can get for $160.
them.
Because I was trying to find a dual screen monitor I could get for my work computer.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was tired of just using one screen. I was like, I want more. I need more. I have all these screens for the stream stuff. I need more for work.
Man, have
Money's not
you
enough.
looked into the technology behind emulation machines lately?
No.
Like handheld? So I have one that my brother sold me called the Odin. He gave
Ooh.
me a really small one. It was like the size of a one of those original
Yeah,
3DS, not the extra
it
large one, but the original
like an
3DS.
arcade in your hand.
Yeah.
Yeah, a bunch of
And
little
I
old
was like,
8-bit
wow,
games.
this is amazing. It could play Dreamcast, Genesis, Super Nintendo, Nintendo 64. But it wasn't until I got this Odin, and I actually have it right here.
Ooh, while he's doing that, I accidentally showed a logo.
So
Hey,
it's about
sponsor
the
us.
size of a Nintendo Switch Lite, and it
Ooh.
looks kind of similar.
Oh, wow.
But this thing, I remember when I was a kid, emulating things took
Effort.
effort. And to have it
A lot.
portable, back then the PlayStation Portable was like the ultimate emulation machine because you could hack it and you could put stuff on it and all this whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But the Odin is like a computer. Like it starts up and it's a tablet
Holy crap.
primarily. It's primarily a tablet. It has touch screen, so it can do. I mean, just run your imagination on what games take a touch screen, and it becomes even more of an emulation machine where it's like
Jeez.
games that before I was like, I just can't emulate it because it has that touch element. So you can throw like a Nintendo DS game on there, and the latency is perfect. Like I was like, wow. Like, by the way, I only encourage doing this if you own the games that you are emulating. So
Yes. Yes.
that is a very clear
that is the
distinction.
general PSA. Own
So,
the game.
own the
Just
game.
the own the game, then don't feel guilty about portability
Yeah.
of said game. Which I think is why the Nintendo
Support
Switch
your
was
local
designed the way it
retro
was.
games. Mm-hmm.
Is for that portability. A lot of people wanted it to have games on the move, so why not make a gaming station that can itself go on the move? Speaking of on the move, like, it is so easy to make your life on the move.
Oh yeah. Camping these days is so different now. It's
Mhm.
like
Extremely
I remember back
different.
then it was like a true disconnect.
Let's
Like
see.
brought books. There was really no electricity out there. But now it's like you can buy a generator for like $100, so you have electricity. You can bring your cell phone, which won't die, because it has a battery that lasts all day. And you can just kind of just set up like artificial lighting, like all this kind of stuff. It's like just little things like that that like when we were younger, like it was expensive and really only rich people could do, like different stuff like that. Like if you saw a family that had a generator while they were camping, you're like, whoa,
Oh,
they got money.
they got bank. Those people got some banks.
Now generators are so common, it's crazy. Like
It baffles my mind how you can even get so okay. Right, I used to work at an outdoor uh, sports place. I worked in the camera section, and they had a coffee place, and that's where I learned how to be a barista. But
nice.
there was a device that was like a small little electric generator that could hold power for something like 8 hours of using for like electric stove things and just the general lights around camp. And if you left it out during the day, it had a giant solar panel on the top and would recharge.
Oh wow.
The thing was like $600, but
Yeah.
you get that's the new form of rich camping. You see a generator, that's commonplace now. An electric generator that requires no fuel, that recharges itself, cool.
That's glamping.
That's
right
glamping right there.
there.
I found the images for those young people to see. These are the first Game Boys we ever started using. Like that big one,
brick.
the brick. You
And
remember
they were
the
the size of a brick.
like
Like they
huge,
yeah.
4 AA
They
batteries.
were thick. They were like this thick.
They were so thick.
Yeah.
Like 4 AA batteries to operate that thing. We then moved into the Game Boy Advanced, which is the colored ones, which were much thinner. And then you got no, these were the Game Boy Advanced, the flip
The Game Boy
ones.
Pockets.
The Game Boy Pockets, that was it. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Then you got
And
the
then it was Game Boy Color.
color, which this one was the most common one here. This one right here.
I
That
think that was an
translucent.
SP.
That one's the SP.
Oh wait, no. I am
No,
watching
SP's
the Twitch
the
stream.
Ah,
I'm not watching you live.
oh,
Yes, that is a
right.
Game Boy Color.
You're talking about latency. No, yeah,
I'm
yeah.
like, that's an SP.
Such an HP. Yeah, the SP, the freaking
Dude,
brick.
I had one of those Game Boy Colors too. That translucent purple. It
That's
was
the
so
advance.
cool.
Yeah, we had it was one of our old mates. Well, I
Mm-hmm.
say old mates. He's still a good friend of ours. He got the original Game Boy. And that's when we got
Mm.
introduced into it. And then we
Mm-hmm.
begged and begged and begged, and our parents allowed us to get a Game Boy Color.
Mm.
And we had the Game Boy Color, but we could only have 3 games at a time. So if we wanted to go to the game store, we'd have to switch out one of the old games and get a new one. So it was
Oh.
constantly us trying to work together and find the
That
ones
way
that
you didn't like just stack on games and never finish
yeah,
them.
yeah, never finished them. Unfortunately, I was always the youngest, so I always lost the votes and never got to play
You're like, I never
ones
even got to
myself.
play that game.
There was one I did get. It was a Buzz Lightyear game, and I still remember it because I would.
Ooh.
We had strict 30-minute time periods where we could play the Game Boy
Mm-hmm.
Color, and I knew where my parents hid it, and I would sneak into the room and play it whenever I wanted. I got so good at one level because I was clever. I never saved,
Uh-huh.
so they would never be able to tell I was playing.
Yeah.
And then if like the battery power popped down one, I would turn it off and I would wait till one of my other brothers played it for a while,
Uh-huh.
and then I would sneak in again, so that it was also obvious that I wasn't eating up the battery power.
That's
You got to be
smart.
smart about
Yeah.
how you do these
Yeah.
things. But gosh, no, these games. It got to the point where our local game store person, oh, look at that camera. Do you remember those?
Oh my gosh. I wanted a Game Boy camera so
So
bad. And I
badly.
think there was an attachment to the Game Boy printer where it would like
Yes.
print off like a little dot matrix of
Yeah.
whatever you made on the camera. Man,
Good times, yo.
there's some good accessories for the Game Boy, like the OG Game Boy and Game Boy Color.
Well, you see, there's a keyboard right there.
Oh wow.
They did have some nutty accessories, like those. I saw a short video of someone who had an old Game Boy Color, and he had all the
Mm-hmm.
accessories, and he attached them all, and it was like assembling Voltron, taking all these pieces and putting it together. It looked so
That's
cool. That
amazing.
little magnifying glass that would make the
Oh
screen
yeah.
bigger. The
I had one of
lights,
those where it would like have light, yeah, it had lights on it, and
the
you could
lights.
like pull it
Yeah,
out. You'd be
yeah.
like, oh yes, this is entertainment.
Because then you could actually play when it was dark. People, these things did
Right.
not have backlights. So
Well, and
when
it was kind of a serious thing when it was like if you didn't have a lamp or something that you could hang out directly underneath,
mm-hmm.
you just weren't going to be able to see what you were doing.
I I remember going on road trips
Mm-hmm.
and waiting until we reached a city or a town of
Yeah.
some kind so that I could turn the game on and play whenever one of the street lights would go by.
And then once it starts getting out of town, the
So
streetlights
you-
get few in between. You're like, I gotta save, I gotta save.
Gotta save, gotta save.
That was me in Pokemon. Like, yellow. I was
Yes.
like, oh my gosh.
I once got one of my school teachers to delay school for 30 minutes while I beat the Elite Four.
They're like, son, this is serious business.
I got no, I'm sorry, this is very serious. I'm almost done. I wasn't.
I wasn't.
We can't save.
It's amazing. Yeah. And then it's like you can't just leave it on in your pocket. That'll
Yeah.
destroy your battery.
Kill the battery power. Come on now.
Oh man.
Oh boy. Well, we've gone from there to here today and where we are with technology. Not only is it palm-sized computers that we can fully purchase for around the same price as one of these Game Boys, that's a joke. Inflation maybe, but that was hopefully a joke. To a point where AI is doing everything for us. Starting to. I'll leave Ben to explain that sentence.
Yeah. So we touch on AI on these episodes and stuff like that, but we're always very clear, about where we feel the boundaries are for ourselves, where we feel like those boundaries should be maybe in the future. Um, but we're seeing some artists play with those boundaries a little bit. I don't know if any of you have gotten into AI SpongeBob rap or anything of the sort, but um, there are a couple artists that have emerged on the scene that really, at first glance, you're like, wow, how is this song good? Like, how is it so good? And then when you learn more about the artists, it begins to make more sense. Um, the two that we're going to look at today, what they do is they write the music, they write the lyrics, they sing the song. Um, but similar to auto tune, they place a layer on top of their voice to make it sound like Patrick or Plankton or Mr. Krabs or SpongeBob. Um, I found some very rare Mrs. Puff rap the other day. That
Oh
was pretty good.
my.
'Cause I was like,
Really?
I haven't seen any Mrs. Puff, but I'll have to post that later.
Oh, sorry, I just smacked the camera.
But I really, because we've had AI music on the scene for a while. I would say
Yeah,
probably a couple years now.
it's been around. We've also had like AI voiceover where it changes your voice to sound like something else. It's not been this good from
No,
my experience.
This is
is
a little
different
different.
level, a whole different level.
And
Go for it.
it hits in a way where it's like it's the nostalgia, but it's
Mm.
good. So it like emerges into something that's new, you know? And so I don't know. I really like it. I think I'm getting married to like it too.
A little bit. When we look at these, we are going to post the link inside the chats so you all know where it's
Yes.
coming from, and we're going to tell you who does it. They don't have any use rights on their songs or anything, and we're pretty sure they're fine to use as long as maybe we give them some credits and shout them out. Is the formula one the first one we're looking at?
Yeah, let's look at formula.
Formula?
Secret.
I need to.
F is for formula.
F is for formula. I need to move around the music to the right channel. There we go. That was easy. And here's the link. It's done by OK Fine. They. OK Fine.
And they're a smaller artist. You'll notice if you check out the link, there's like 1,000 views on the song. So
Yeah, we won't look at the whole thing either. Probably skip around a bit.
yeah.
So this is Plankton, who's and he wrote the songs himself.
Yeah. So the lyrics and the actual song making and stuff like that. I'm sure he used a computer and stuff like that. You can have electronic instruments and everything.
Oh yeah,
like that.
oh yeah. There's a lot of people who even show the process. Hey, Counter's Chaos.
I love the jump into
Thank you,
Patrick.
thanks. It's such a beautiful jump into Patrick. Like, it's so good. As long as we keep talking over it as well, it should be fine, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it
Exactly.
should be good. That's why we're posting the link as well, encouraging you to listen to these songs yourself, because they're genuinely quite good. Like, this one's F is for formula, not for friends. And
Yeah, F is not for friends, it's for formula.
formula.
Or F is not for fun, it's for formula.
That's
what it
it.
is. Yeah.
And it's quite catchy.
Yeah, it's like a good little emo rap rock
Yeah.
kind of song. And I noticed that there's like a general theme in a lot of the SpongeBob rap. There's like usually they're smoking kelp or like jellies to the face. There's always like
Jellies.
jellyfish mentions, and so they kind of take that theme of like what rap does, where it's like all about sex and drugs and blah blah blah. It's like, but they make it SpongeBob.
They make it SpongeBob.
Just kind of, yeah, it's just kind of funny.
It's
I saw one of these songs and they were like, "Yeah, I sell crack," and I was like, "Whoa,
what?
no, you sell kelp. You sell kelp.
I sound
Get it right."
There's that one. That was 2 minutes of it. We'll move on to the next.
Yeah.
But
If
yeah,
you want to hear the rest of that song, just check out the link.
check it out. It's so good. These guys are
I will
definitely.
pray for no strikes, says Cathar's Chaos.
Thank you. This one is Boy What, and I think this is
Mhm.
the. Do you want to elaborate on before, or do you want to elaborate
Yeah.
while it's playing?
So similar kind of concept, but this guy is ridiculously talented. Like we'll kind of skip around to some sections of the song to where you're like, wow, that is. It's beyond just an AI song because he's actually singing. He's actually making the music, but with Plankton thrown on top, it's like I don't know. It just adds that extra layer of spice.
Yeah. And like also to clarify, like he's writing these words himself. Something one of the
Mm-hmm.
comments Ben and I chatted about before we hopped on here was fun fact in a behind the scenes stream. Boy What mentioned that the song is mostly about his own feelings towards these kinds of AI. So he's using it to sing about what he feels about. And this
Mm-hmm.
one, definitely go check out the lyrics.
It's hard.
It is. It's a roughie. So there's a link for that one. We'll probably still.
So Plan Z was like his whole thing in the SpongeBob movie where he put the chum buckets on everybody. And so these
Ah,
songs will like reference like SpongeBob stuff, but then like also I don't know. It's just for someone who grew up watching SpongeBob, it's like it hits that nostalgia bit,
mm,
but then they turn it into something cool and grown up.
this one's a lot louder too. Had to
Mm-hmm.
pop that down quite a bitty.
I love that. What's real and what's fake will be left up to fate. No love, no truth, no lies. Just neon tide. And
Ah,
it's just like, where it's just like, it's not going to
it's
be good or
true.
bad. It's just going to be the neon tide. It's like,
Oh, it's so true as well. I mean,
mm-hmm,
we're seeing a bunch of just. It's not words that people are making. It's just words that are being formulated by an AI and then pumped out because that's what we're told will be good.
mm-hmm.
Oh gosh, we'll talk about Dune when we come back. But hey, Butlerian Jihad here.
And then the SpongeBob bit.
Which I paused that right before.
You
Good
did.
timing.
Which is great because what he uses SpongeBob for on his channel is like a country artist. And so then he
Yeah.
brings him into this emo rap song. So like the context too, if you like listen to his other songs, is deepened a little bit more because it's like SpongeBob is like, yo, like I was living in this cool country Bikini Bottom and now this neon tide is here kind of messing everything up. Like, and Plankton is like the beholder of the neon tide, but it's almost like he himself fears the neon tide too.
Oh wait.
Oh, we got to get at least to the breakdown.
The music trivia is
This
trippy.
line right here, what's your final wish? You chose convenience over Neptune's gift. It's like,
Okay.
yeah,
Oh.
we'll stop there, but
Yeah, it's the same amount as the last one.
yeah.
Oh my goodness.
And then just the in the middle of that breakdown, it's just like the clap, clap, clap till you can't take it back.
Yeah.
It's just like the who knows what's going to happen with the future of AI, but you know there's going to be those who are just all like, yeah,
Yay,
yeah,
let's praise
everyone's
it.
losing their jobs.
Everyone's losing their jobs. Things are becoming cheaper for the corporations.
We haven't figured out an alternative. It's happening too fast.
Too quickly. That's the the borderline for myself is the
Mm-hmm.
like why I still feel even remotely slightly comfortable using AI art for the backdrops of our overlays is because I'm still commissioning artists regularly for all the important art. The backdrops I don't care about. They're just there
Mm-hmm.
for a feel, for a general aesthetic. Like you
Yeah,
get the
it's
aesthetic.
not the main driver.
It's not the main driver.
It's a
The main
plate that you
driver,
put your food on.
yeah, it's the plate. A pretty plate is appreciated. It's not looked at for long before it goes into the dishwasher.
Yeah.
Resist the bad joke. The the but like I'm still like our t-shirt designs. There are tools I can actually use on Streamlabs to create t-shirt designs. I could easily create one with Midjourney, which is the one I use, and pump out with those. Like it wouldn't take too long to really be able to do that. It would take a little fine tuning, maybe, but a day or two I'd have something. No.
Guarantee there's an industry on Redbubble of people who do that.
Well, yep. There definitely. I have no doubts that there are. I won't do that though. I don't want to make money off that stuff. I would rather give someone money to create something that I could then sell to someone else. Like the backdrops, I'm not selling that stuff, and I'm never going to publish the full images of them.
Because you're not keeping the art economy alive if you just take an AI design and make it into a shirt and sell it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Think about this as well. The AI has to draw art from somewhere. If there are no artists, where does it draw the art from? Itself.
Yeah, it doesn't just take a void and create something.
It's not smart to.
Thousands
and thousands of pieces to create whatever you got. Which is why whenever you do dinosaurs, whenever I do dinosaurs at least, they still come out with 5 legs.
That's amazing.
I'll never strive to make it perfect either. I want there to be imperfections in those kinds of arts. I don't want them to be perfect.
The AI art that I do appreciate is when an artist takes like a basic AI concept and does a art thing, and then it's almost like a coloring book page where it's like they add more to it and it becomes an entirely new piece. I think that's where I find it acceptable, to where it's like you're not directly stealing, but I think it would also depend on, it's like that whole concept of like, okay, how much is remaining in the final art piece? If 75% of it is still the AI, then you did not create something.
Yeah,
but go ahead.
But here's a challenging concept too as well. I mean, I know a lot of AI art draws from images that then molds them together and creates a new image with these molded images with frames of reference for certain aspects. Now, frames of reference is the key concept there. It is drawing from images for a frame of reference. Artists do that too. They draw from existing images for a frame of reference. If you're going to use that as the key argument to why it should be bad, then what artists is doing as well is technically bad. Because
what do you do when you go to art school?
A picture is a piece of art as well. There are photographers for these things. By using their art for a frame of reference, you're doing the same thing as AI art. Now that is a challenging and a very contradictory statement.
And controversial.
And controversial. So I state it more for the conversation as opposed to the actual opinion. Because I teeter on the line, because I worked as a photographer for a while, and if someone used all my photography, drew them, and then sold them as their own art, I would be upset. Be like,
and it
okay,
was just like a line by line,
I would be upset by that. If they took multiple of my photos, molded them together, I would be honored by that, because then that's a new piece that they have created using the frame of reference of my pieces.
Or if they took your photo and then created another art piece inside it or something like that.
Yeah, well, used, because I primarily did landscape. If they used my landscape photo and then created something over top of it, like a beautiful scene of some people, a proposal, that horrible murder. That's right. I go from proposal to horrible murder, and they put that over the top.
Or a fantasy scene. You got some dragons flying across or something.
I'm cool with that too. Yeah, do it to it, yo. I'll give you my pictures and say, here you go. Here's some landscape things. But if they're just gonna draw it itself, no, that's again the same. It's the same feel.
Yeah.
So I understand the feel. At the same time, I also understand how helpful of a tool AI art can be, even to artists. They want that fantasy frame of reference, that thing that you can't take a picture of, that dragon you can't take a picture of. whip some images on AI art up. Get some inspiration flowing. Get your juices
Yeah.
going, and then
And I
create
think
your own
using
thing.
it for inspiration, I think, is an excellent way because there's just so much. And anybody who's created anything will know that if you're creating something, you can start it usually pretty fine, or you
Mhm.
get this idea, but following through can sometimes be the hardest part. And so sometimes you could just say, like, hey, here's what I got so far. Where should I go next? And you don't let it write your story. You're just like, okay, I like that idea, but I'm going to do this with that
Mhm.
idea. Like,
Mhm.
so you're not necessarily even taking its idea. Like, I've had times where sometimes all I need is like a word or a phrase to get me started on something. And then I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm going to write about this. Or like sometimes I'll see all the suggestions. Like, if it's like, hey, write me a title for an article or something like that. And
Yeah.
then I'm like, this is all cool, but I'm gonna write this.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. Yeah.
so it can even show you like, yeah, this is a bad idea. This is a bad idea. This is a bad idea. I'm gonna write this instead of just
Mm.
wallowing in the pit of like, man, I have no inspiration at all. I think that's where it can be helpful.
Delegation. Delegation of inspiration. That's what I like to call it. You could probably. I mean, there's not I can safely say there is not a place in Iridai you can point where I will not be able to look at and say, oh yeah, this inspired that. Like the entirety, the Archipelago of the Gods, the SCP universe inspired that.
Yeah.
Like flat out. Not even
Mhm.
gonna lie. Many of them were. Well, one of them, the Silken Veil, is ripped from the SCP universe. Thank
Nice.
you. There's other bits. I've got the three blind mice in there, people.
Yeah. Well, when I was a
Use
kid,
fun
some of
little
the
things.
coolest material I remember was the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
Gentlemen, yes, I
And it was
love that.
because they had all the stories in one.
Yeah,
It was like you had
yeah.
Dorian Gray, you had Alice in Wonderland, you had Ernest Hemingway, you had Tom Sawyer, you had Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, you had the Invisible Man. It was like there was no end. It
You're
was amazing.
Dracula's wife. One
Yeah,
of them.
yeah. And so it was like any character, and to me, it was like no one thought they were stealing. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
they didn't write an original story. It's like, no,
An
that was a
original
really good
story.
story.
No,
Yeah.
it was so good, and it was a bunch of different other little stories brought together.
Hmm.
Some of the some of the best stories we have are just conglomerations of other
Yeah.
stories.
Well, what's Disney? It's all
But,
remakes.
yeah, it's the Grimm
Since the
brothers.
beginning, even the original Disney, it's all, yeah, Grimm fairy tales.
Grimm fairy tales, but made PG.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Uh, not use stuff. Use it for inspiration.
yeah.
Just don't sell
Just
it.
create.
Just
Create
create.
something.
Create something with your own stuff.
Yeah.
It's the follow through is definitely a hard thing for creative types.
Mm-hmm.
That's why you create a D&D table.
There you
You've
go.
got
You get
at least
multiples.
4 other people to help you with the follow through.
Yep. Eventually, it'll move forward.
Yeah. Right. Well, shall we take a break, Ski, before we come back and talk
Yes.
about Dune a little, and then go over the question of the week that I posted, and talk about our
Nice.
other concept of tonight.
Yes.
Let's go do that quickly. Uh, in the Meme It Up channel in our Discord, Stitch posted a shark with legs dancing with some dude with a sword.
Oh, I gotta
See you in 15, everyone.
this.
Hello there. As a guest of the Owlbear Inn, you obviously have taste. Now, as a person of taste, have you ever thought to yourself, I need to watch an artist who also has taste, with a sense of classiness and intelligence, heightened by sitting in a leather armchair before a fireplace with shelves of books behind? Neither have I. Anyways, I happen to have an art channel called Michael How Arts here on Twitch if you want to check it out. There's drawing, chatting, and sometimes gaming. If you enjoy fantastic characters and comics, or just having someone to hang out with while doing art, you should give Michael How Arts a look-see. That's twitch.tv/Michael How Arts. And if you visit, maybe, just maybe, you'll occasionally have that artist sitting in front of a fireplace to give you a +1 for the richness and culture of your Twitch experience. Though I wouldn't count on that. But please, do stop on by. Thanks for your time, and have a wonderful day.
I'm Michael Howe, and I approve this message. Oh, you don't believe me? Well, I did this, and 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 this.
Hello, everybody.
Fine
All
store.
campaign, all I wanted was to pass wisdom saving throws, and I never do.
Even with advantage?
I have advantage. I have plus. All my feats almost have all been going into that direction. No.
Oh, that's awesome.
Consent is always important.
Agreed.
You're next.
Why am
totally
I
not dead.
so bad at this game? Jeez.
Might be genetics.
Attack first. Think never. Hey, folks.
You feel a definite pulse of magical energy as you shake his hand.
You just made a deal with the devil.
Yeah.
Oh, damn.
Roll a will save.
There's more up there? We have to... I fucking hate this level.
We could have been playing Valheim. Dog, dog, dog. Save me, save me. Where are you? Get in front of me. Get in front of me. Get in front of me.
I'm coming. I was marking the cave.
Dogs. I'm gonna stand up. Ah! Get the dog. Help.
Hello, folks.
There. Apparently, I can't remember your name at all.
Who's Ingrid?
You.
You.
Me?
Irving.
Oh,
Yes, because I can't think. Wow. Why am I having such a hard freaking time with names today?
you called me Murphy twice before
Yeah.
we even started.
No, but I'm working here.
Hell.
Alrighty, naked.
That's a good drawing, right?
Damn right, Hank, that's
Really
good.
good. Oh my gosh.
Love it.
I do.
Wow.
With someone. Wait, you just said they had a book.
That being
Yes.
said, we will.
Yes.
And then you
keep up.
emphasize
Come on,
that there
keep
is a
up.
book.
Holy! Way to catch on to that like a minute and a half late. There's books, there's diaries, there's maps.
Wait, there's a book? We have not been consistent with this at all, have we?
No.
I'm not even gonna try and pronounce most of those. Wow.
Yeah, they had a sale on apostrophes that day.
Hello, everybody.
I don't know what's really going on. Hi.
We have you on speakerphone.
I was just gonna say this is one hell of a collect call, man. I didn't know he knew infallible relay.
Does anyone know what the rates are? I don't have that much gold.
Did you know back in the old days, in the medieval times, they used to put lanterns, hang lanterns out on front of horses to help them navigate during nighttime?
Oh.
It was the first recorded instance of satellite navigation.
I enjoyed the live action The Avatar movie.
Oh, baby Baba Luba. And burble as it came.
No!
Can I get a oh yeah?
Oh yeah!
Oh yeah.
If you're only to be addressed as you as your own person, what do I do if there's like a whole bunch of y'all?
You may use titles as, I would say, the trolls. You may use the consequences if
Okay.
you would like.
So
You
y'all
may-
is off the table.
Y'all is an abomination.
A whole bunch of y'all.
Too late.
That's when you guys look over and see what once was Jitters descend slowly onto the ground, trampling towards you as its head from top to about past the sternum splits like that into a toothy maw that is its whole body. Rawr. Hello and welcome to Hate, Laugh, Love.
Everybody knows if it's green and it's slime,
You went that
it's booger time.
The show where we talk about movies.
He starts hopping on the way, and when you look back, there's Handor and Grace. Grace looking just frowning perpetually, and Handor just smiling ever so gracefully. And Finestorm, you see on their lips, Handor say, "You think they'll make it?" And Grace go, "Not a chance." Oh, right, as an ad break even starts for chat. Hey everyone, welcome back.
No.
Well, those of you who are sponsored. Hey, those in chat who are seeing ads, we salute you. We know you can't hear us, but we salute those in chat seeing ads. And hey, you in the VOD squad, we salute you as well. Those were wonderful little
Yes.
videos by OK Fine and Boy What. Go down into the comment section. You'll find the links down there. Those two people, definitely check out more of their SpongeBob singing stuff. It's cool.
Mm-hmm.
It's fun. It's, dare I say, inspirational.
Inspirational.
Alright, we're in the second half. This one is where we talk about TTRPG stuff primarily. So, first off, Ben, we have had our zero session for the Dune miniseries. How do you think this is going to be? You're in it. You're one of the players.
So I really like the possibilities present in the Dune series because it's like more not political espionage, but like it's more about the intrigue. It's more about like what are these alliances? Where can you go with the alliances? Like where does your true trust lie? Like there's just so many different little variables of like ooh, this could either go really well if I play it right and I'm conniving and, you know, roll well, or this could go very poorly.
Yes.
If I don't
Very.
think this through well enough. And the pressure of the character that I'm playing being kind of a focal guy is a pressure that I think I'm going to thrive under. So I really like that. So.
Yeah, a little teaser for all of you wonderful people out there. Ben chose the character that happens to be genuinely the focal point of all the other characters. So, they get to be the primary focus. Which is great.
So we'll see where we take that.
See where it goes.
I'm genuinely trying to to play it well, so we'll see how that goes.
For the Dune system, what we've discovered is it's a lot like Fate Core, which is kind of what we've done in the sense of there's a lot of drive behind knowing your character sheet, more than needing math skills, needing checking off skills with two hands, needing math skills. you need to know your math. Oh gods. But in the system itself, there is a complicated aspect to it, and this is part of the emphasis. It's a 2d20 system that you can get up to 5 d20s for rolling. When you roll it, you're adding your skill, and then you're choosing which drive is influencing the skill the most, and adding those two numbers together. That's then your target number that you want to roll under. So if I had a skill of 7, and a drive associated with it of 5, I would be wanting to roll 13 or lower. And with these two wonderful dice, once I roll them, hey, well, one of them's a 6. Great, that's lower. The nice thing that, actually adding more complication to it, if you're not familiar with the character sheet, your skills can have descriptors on the side. If what you're rolling applies to that descriptor, your critical threat range increases to whatever the number on that skill is. So if I had a descriptor that played well into this roll, I would then be looking at a threat range of 7 or lower associated with the skill. So this 6 would be a crit. That would earn me 2 successes. And you're looking for a series of successes, 1 through 5, 5 being the most difficult. And a lot about it is the RP. And I think it's
like
going
what
to
is
be
motivating that action to begin with.
kind of like the statements that go into it, and they have multiple different kinds of conflict. You can have espionage, and like just a conversation can turn into a conflict where you're doing roll-offs with initiative, and everyone's just talking to each other, which I think is great. I love stuff like that, where it's not dependent on, give me a persuasion check. You beat me, great, you win. You get everything now.
Yeah.
No, it's instead, you want to negotiate? Let's go into the mini game of negotiating now. Let's get this
It's
bill
not a
down.
simple check.
Great. Mm-hmm.
It's
I
like,
might
that's
learn.
the game.
I might learn something from the system and implement it in our sessions because we've gotten a little too reliant on. I've just got to do a persuasion check. I have plus 18, so we're
You
fine.
do an investigation check.
Check. I've got a passive investigation of 26. We're fine.
It's like, okay, well, what are you investigating?
Like, what particular piece of this room are you investigating now?
So I want you to do a nature check and an investigation check.
Start making it more complicated.
Yeah. That could be pretty interesting, because then you get into the nature of the check. Like, why would this character be doing this particular check? And what motivates them to find out what's coming out of it?
I'm curious. Now I'm curious. What do you think you're going to take away from the system and look at D&D in a different way?
Well, I know where I tend to thrive in the 5e system is combat, primarily. I just love combat so much that it's like combat, you don't think about your character at all. It's all about tactics. Whereas in the Dune system, it's less about pure tactics and more about like, okay, why is your character choosing to go about the tactic in this particular way? Like, what about, okay, if their sense of duty is what is going to do that, okay, what about their sense of duty? Like, what are they dutiful to?
Yeah.
Like, and that's where I think the Dune series comes in, is where it's like, it's not just duty, it's not just history, it's not just arcana. It's like, okay, if you're doing an arcana check, does your character know about this particular school of magic? Like
what's
not just arcana in general, like, why has your character encountered this in their life? Like, and so I think that could add a little bit of dimension, I think, to some of those like motivations of a character.
I think the phrase you're going to hear from me the most is, okay, what's the drive? Like, what's the drive behind this? And it's going to be a lot of exploration behind who your character is and what the decision is. And that's something I think is not emphasized a lot in systems like D&D and Pathfinder and such. It's all about, what kind of build can I make?
What can I do?
What can I do, as opposed to, who am I?
Or why?
Or why am I? Yeah.
Why should I do?
Why should I do this? It's gonna be fun. I'm excited for it. I feel a lot more confident hopping into a system like this as the GM, having never played the system or read the manual yet. I've watched some videos.
Those were good videos
They
that you posted, by the way.
Yeah.
They were very thorough and actually, like, intuitive. Like, they were organized.
Quite insightful.
Yeah.
And I read the important parts of the manual at this point. The manual itself gets a little repetitive and has a lot of Dune history, which if you've read the books, you don't need most of it. So I just read the conflict section and other RP sections and called it good. And then watched those videos. Yeah. But I feel a lot more confident hopping into the system after doing the Fate Core system. Because it's a lot about diving into who your character is, what their drive is, what they know. Like, there was a lot of us going, no, he wouldn't do something like that because he wouldn't. It's not something he would do. So I don't think I'm going to make a roll for this one. And there was a lot of justifying for, okay, when you're rolling this, what trait are you using for this? Because you have a different kind of build. Like your weapons that can be finesse, so you can use dexterity versus strength. In Fate Core, you don't have a weapon that does that, you have reasoning. What is your combat style? Like, how do you move when you're fighting? My character was always staying out of reach, only looking for opportunities, never taking risks, being very careful, tumbling around. So all my rolls were based off of acrobatics. What were my acrobatics like? Where could I put the blade? Where could I place it? And he turned out to be only really efficient at killing things when they didn't first see him coming. Like, he's not a very good fighter. That's okay. He knows where to stick a blade, that's for sure. It'll be fun. I'm looking forward to it.
Oh yeah, got a good crew too.
Yeah.
It'll be really fun.
Yeah, we've got the Michael Howard joining us, playing a Benny Gesserit. Comic, Fiendtails Comic. I almost called him by his old name. That's over a year old now too.
Right.
Gosh. But Comic will be joining us. They're playing a Mentat. And an old friend of mine, Ruddy Ginger, they'll be joining us as well. They're playing just a fighter. I mean, a bodyguard. Think of what's his facey. Oh shoot, what's his face? I can't remember his name now. And then that guy is playing the House Inheritant. Heir to the house of the new house. I should probably mention this miniseries is going to be a what if, where what if the Atreides didn't get Arrakis, but a different house got Arrakis. That's what we're going to be visiting. Arrakis is
a much different house.
Much different house. And I gotta, the system really hits the book's feel on the head with their drives and their motivations, because when you dive deeper into the series, you start seeing a lot of exploration into the characters and their drives, why they're doing what they're doing. Like, the information is laid out for you. It's more about exploring the characters of it, which is why when you see the current line that we all know and are familiar with end inside the book series, most people stop reading, because all the characters you knew are gone, and yet the story is still continuing. The whole aspect was not the story, it was more the characters. And the story is beautiful and brilliant, but the characters, their psyche, and the social economic structure of Dune is the main focus, and it's just Baroque. So Baroque. So good. I'm saying the word funny.
That word.
Yeah, it's a fun word. Details are in Dune, and details are inside our question of the week. Let's hop over to that lore library inside our Discord, the Heroes Feast section. So this one had a trick to it. Alright. So let's see if you can spot the trick. If you were in a disaster with one of your companions and had to spend a long time waiting for rescue, who would you prefer being stuck with? Why? Where's the trick?
Where's the trick?
Where's the trick? Here, I'll post the comments inside chat as well. But there is a trick in this question. Something people will pass over, and people did pass over.
You were in a disaster with one of your companions and had to spend a long time waiting for rescue.
Who would you prefer being stuck with, and why?
Is it a wordplay thing?
Not really. Well, technically, actually, I guess it could be technically a wordplay thing. So, I give it to you here. It's the had to spend a long time waiting for rescue. The preface of the question is you have to spend a long time waiting for rescue. People ignored that. Except for Peter. Schnozzboop answered. Schnozzboop answered, TTRPG companions, I assume. Yes, that is correct. Jartis, because he always has good berries in these trying times. And I thought that comment was beautiful. Well done, Schnozzboop, for understanding
He would
the
always
assignment.
have good berries.
He would, right? He would.
He wouldn't starve to death.
He wouldn't at all. Now, this answer I find truthful, while also false, because of the way it was stated. Now, keeping in mind, had to wait a long time for rescue. You have to wait a long time for rescue. I can't repeat that enough. we have an answer of Paimon, because as a wizard, if a wizard can snatch your soul out of the afterlife with teleport, they can get you home in 5 minutes. Immediately. That's not a long time.
Yeah.
That's 5
Who would
minutes.
you spend a long time
Who would you spend a long time with for 5 minutes? I still find that answer accurate, though.
Yeah.
Because I genuinely think if you got stuck on an island with Paimon and said, hey, you could just teleport us out, they would sit down and do nothing just to spite you.
Yeah. You're like, I know I can.
I know.
I'm not gonna.
I know I can. I'm not gonna. And then they would start researching your mood and your attitude as you start waiting a long time and doing like a research document on it. And then when they were done, had their conclusion, then they would teleport you away. So I still find the
Alright, this is
answer
enough.
valid.
Nice.
This one is also definitely valid. It's their close second, which is Urist McNugget. And this character is nuts for this. I remember him telling me about him. It's because his whole shtick is he's survival game camp mom, player on steroids. Genuinely. The guy had a mobile kitchen on his back. He cooks, crafts, repairs, and pulls almost any item out of his backpack on demand. 100%. Rytek, I'm with you. I would love to have Urist McNugget on an island with me for a long time. That would be amazing. I would be cared for. I wouldn't have to worry. I would just have to wait patiently. We have an answer of Yolandriel, because he would fly us out.
Trying to think of ways to get out of it, it sounds like.
Yeah. Trying to find ways to get out of it more than thinking of who would be more comfortable, because...
Who would you spend more time with?
I definitely would not like to spend a very long time with Yolandriel on an island. That just sounds awful. However, I feel like Tangerine would still be very happy doing this, because of the second part of it. Also, I feel like he'd hate dad jokes, so I'd have a wonderful time annoying him. I think Tangerine would still be happy being stuck on an island with them for a very long time, and would end up being stuck on an island by themselves, because Yolandriel would just fly away without them. After like 3 dad jokes.
Stuck on the island.
Leave them on the island. So
That's
false statement again, but I still find it valid. Fun answers though, I do like them. But
Man, if I had to spend an extended amount of time with one of my companions, who would it be?
It's a fun question.
I don't have a lot of frame of reference because I've only really had the 2 campaigns. But I think I don't know if I could do Brolog, because then you'd be stuck with him in the Creed.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah. Yeah, you'd be stuck with a Creed for that long, and hard pass.
I think... I honestly think I'd have to pick Schnozboop. I think I'd want to spend an extended amount of time with Schnozboop, because Schnozboop would have like entertaining stories to tell. You'd like learn more about yourself as you learn more about Schnozboop. It's like, I don't know. I think it would be a pleasant time. Find yourself telling stories around the fire.
It would be pleasant just waiting with Schnozboop.
It'd be a true air of friendship. Who would you be stuck with if you could?
I don't know. Are we talking, okay, are we including NPCs on this?
Sure.
Sure? Okay. That just widened the possibilities massively. I think Jeft. I was gonna say Callus at first, because Callus is one of my faves. Well, okay, so I can't say Callus actually, because he was a played character at first. That's how he got introduced into reality, as I played him as a player. So but also because he would probably be poking you while you slept and taking your blood and doing experiments on you without you knowing. So I would rather not risk
Uncomfortable.
that. Uncomfortable. Yep. So Jeff, because he's incredibly intelligent, he knows a whole lot. He has a very wide network of underground spies and places, so we would definitely be getting rescued.
Mm-hmm.
And I would be able to pick his brain about the arcane arts and how he builds so many wonderful wands.
Nice.
Like, I'd be able to learn stuff while I was trapped.
Uh-huh.
And he's a pleasant guy, so...
Yeah. Genuine companion.
Genuine companion, who can be very stern but understanding at the same time.
Mm-hmm. I mean, he put up with the consequences, and now the hand.
Now he's putting up the hand.
I loved last session when now Julian was like, you remind me of another group that also didn't think before they acted. They faced a lot of, what were those consequences? It was like anything to avoid the word consequences. I loved it.
Oh, that was fun. I strangely enjoyed giving Schnozboop a reprimand, only to immediately turn it around and say, "But we can do work with this." And then tell you all, do it again and you owe me 25,000 gold.
I love how we're all technically criminals. Like, no matter what campaign we play, we all eventually become criminals. And Teffy's just thrown in there by association.
Right?
She's like, what did I do?
What did I do? Like, nothing. You're still part of the group, and
you just hang out
Zara's
with the bad
disappeared.
kids. Guilty by association.
I tallied it up, and so far the hand has racked up numerous levels of bounty on various different kind of legalities. One of them is actually legal, a legal assassination contract for Altian's head, but you're up to 195,000 gold. You're
Pretty,
worth a lot.
Pretty valuable dead.
Yeah, yeah. The hand's pretty valuable dead to the west of the continent.
Yes. We haven't quite ruined things in the east yet.
Haven't had the chance to. However, Schnozboop does have it on his list to take down the council of the messengers of peace, and they are to the east.
Yeah, that'll
do it.
That'll cause some conflict.
Mm-hmm. And if you're worried about Central, it's okay. You're planning on going to the Knowing's Notch. You'll hit there eventually. Attention to detail. It is an important factor, and something that I like to use a lot inside my campaigns. I like slipping little tiny words in and then rolling past it. It's like the difference between days, weeks, and years being like lunars, or days, months, and years. Lunars, solars, or solars, lunars, and cycles in that order. I slipped up with Julian a few times before you all learnt his real identity. But played it off because
now it's a character trait.
Now it's a character thing. But he grew up in a place where it was days, months, years. So learning to say solars, lunars, cycles was
legitimately tough.
Legitimately tough. So there's going to be times where he slips up.
Gosh.
Little tiny pieces.
I like that attention to detail because it kind of not necessarily like illustrates the consequences of things a little bit more, but it like even those little interactions that you have early game, you know, could become something later on. You know?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
none of us really I mean, you probably did, but I didn't anticipate Jeth being such a huge part of both campaigns. Like, where he becomes Julian and remains this, like, the center of information hubs guy. Like, I just kind of, I don't know, it's just like, he's kind of like the... Did you ever play Final Fantasy?
Yeah.
There was, like, always a Cid.
Yeah.
And he was, like, the guy that, like, fixed stuff or built the airship or, like, did something. He's just, like, a really good engineer. It's like, that's Jeth. But he's still the same character. It's just, like, he's, like, kind of, like, in every campaign, which is kind of cool.
Here's his development path. Like, I'll give you a little insight into the GM's mind on this. For Jeth, he started as just a really cool wizard that I wanted to put in the world because he's just real cool. And then Fine Storm became a thing. And then I was like, okay, so Fine Storm needs a connection of some kind. I'm going to make Jeth that connection. I'm going to make it to where he's actually from up north. I won't figure out those details. He's from Iridai, though.
I love
and then campaign 2 started. We started planning process for campaign 2. And Altian started going down his idea path of what his character wanted. And I had this gap of a connection to connect a few of the characters into Grantina Senate and to have more of a draw to that area. I was like, well, what if I made Jeth an Altar? Like, what if I made him like the missing heir, like that missing link? Well, I needed him to be connected to you also. He's also the Guildmaster. He's a high enough, powerful wizard, very intelligent, very capable, underground networks. Great. There we go. He would be in hiding. He can't be called Jeth. Julian. He goes by his middle name now. And he'll change his last name. That's his middle name, yeah. He's
Jeth Julian.
Jeth Julian Altar.
In the third iteration, he'll just be JJ.
JJ. But evolving characters. And I like him. I liked that NPC. I didn't want to see him go yet, so reduce, reuse, recycle GMs. And that includes NPCs. You're recycling your time.
Man. As far as NPCs go, shout out to Jimbo.
Oh my freaking
Juro,
gosh.
man.
Jimbo. No,
he would not be a bad one to be stuck with.
No, he wouldn't actually. Yeah, he actually. I think I'd find his conversations dull and boring after about 30 minutes.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Do you know how to properly sugar a churro? Like, you gotta take it, you gotta dip it in that sugar, let it sit for like 5 minutes, and then you gotta take it again, and you gotta fry it. It gets that wonderful cinnamony, sugary taste. Fry it into it. It's just that over and over again.
Now remember, you can't dip the churro right away. Too hot. All that oil. It'll make the sugar fall off. But if you wait too long, then no sugar will stick. You just gotta know.
You just gotta know. It's gotta be a feeling, you know?
Like, all of his knowledge is just
Churros.
Sugar placement on churros.
Yeah. Or lack thereof, because he forgets all the time.
Yeah. For knowing so much about it, he tends to forget a lot.
We are actually heading into the Archipelago of the Gods, so I may as well start the section of RIP Red Shirt of the Week. And this RIP Red Shirt of the Week goes to Mark, who everyone forgot about. Kark. Mark with a C, 2 C's.
That was legitimately fun to roleplay, because it was like...
I'm so glad
Schnozboop was like, okay, there was a mark. There was a mark. I
His
was all like,
reaction
when he
was
put a hand
beautiful.
up to the captain, I was all like,
Oh,
do I reprimand him? What do I do? I was just all like, because that military part of Captain Beereth was very like, did he just put his hand up to me?
like, what
But the
just
very like situational part of it was like, this situation is so weird. I don't know what to do about this right
what
now.
to do right now? Oh, for context for VOD people and others who don't watch the Sunday, on last Sunday I threw essentially I threw my own take of a false Hydra at them. And if you know what a false Hydra is, you GMs are probably shrinking back going, you what? And other people, other players are probably shrinking back going, oh crap. A false Hydra, when you look at them, you forget about them when you stop looking at them. That is if you did not get taken by them. If you get taken by them and you get eaten, everyone who ever knew you forgets about you immediately. You're gone. You never existed. Evidence of your life will and can be found. But memories of you won't be.
It'll just be like unmarked grave type stuff where it's like,
Unmarked
I wonder
grave.
who that was.
Yeah. Wonder what's happening there. The story I read when I learnt of what a false Hydra was about a GM who threw it at their party. One of the characters got taken, and he had to solemnly, and that character had just started, they had just gotten, either just started a relationship or just gotten married in character to one of the other characters. So when they got forgotten, he had to explain to them, your husband never existed.
Yeah.
This ring on your finger, you don't know why it's there. These love notes you have, you don't know where they came from. And like they rolled with it. They purely rolled with it they were describing how their character was reading these love letters and crying without understanding why. It's like, that is cool. No table I was GMing at that time would have ever tolerated a false Hydra. They were like, no, you are not making one of our characters get forgotten like that.
Not just dead.
Not just
but
dead.
Erased.
Never existed. Yeah, erased. Completely erased. That is devastating. So I had fun throwing a false Hydra at them on Sunday.
That was definitely fun.
And it caused some great reactions. And I had to, when Mark got forgotten, 2 of them would have remembered because of details and their backstory at that point. 3 of them would not. So I muted I deafened the 2 who would remember and told the 3 who would forget, you just forgot Mark. He never existed. Act that way. And they did. And it was gorgeous. Oh, it was so good. Peter's reaction, you're right, was classic. Oh, it was so good.
Just the at first, like, what is going on? And then just the settling on, like, okay, you've forgotten, just stop. I was just like, I loved it. Just getting down to business.
Is Schnozboop your friend? Do you trust Schnozboop? Do you trust me? Do you trust me when I say Mark existed?
It's like, well, I think I trust my own evaluation of my own crew.
Right. Oh gosh, that just solidified it even more. The captain even forgot that guy existed.
His own crew member. It's like, of all the people to know that he existed, it would have been him.
It would have been him. Oh boy. Yondo, the Forgotten City. What is next? What do you think you'll find in the archipelago? What are you looking forward to? What do you fear the most? I feel like I should put some melodramatic music on my side for this.
Man, what's more frightening than that magical nuclear engine that just exploded and killed everybody? It was like, it didn't kill everybody, but it was like devastating damage. I'm just like, okay, what kind of potent thing are we walking into with the archipelago of the gods? I keep wanting to say archipelago. for some reason.
Archipelago.
Yeah.
To be fair, I
But,
kind of do too.
But I don't know, cause it's like when you walk into places like that have that kind of foreboding name, like you could either just be walking into some place where important things are done, discussed, held, kept secret, or you could be walking into a complete mind fuck, excuse my language, of perspective changing something. Because I think there could be something in the archipelago of the gods that's like, I said it there again, archipelago of the gods, that could be a paradigm shift. I don't know.
Mind numbing and mind bending is definitely the thing. Like, rest inside the archipelago. Let's see. Trying to
yes.
see if there's a good teaser from
The horrors within.
From the horrors within. Here we go. Let's give you a little teaser of a lebradank. Lebradanks are three-dimensional triangular figures that float around and fly and flutter in places, kind of like what a hummingbird would do, but with no visible wings. It's just a floating, three-dimensional triangle that's hollow and empty in the middle. You'll see it feeding when it goes around a flower, and thousands of tiny little tongues burst out and start digging into the flower, ripping its petals and nectar out and devouring the thing as a whole.
Ugh.
When you're on this island, do not get into a lebradank nest. They will eat you.
Completely.
Sounds
like bones and all.
But they're only about this size. They're only about the size of a baseball bat. Or a baseball, not a bat.
Oh, yikes.
Yeah.
A swarm of triangular baseballs coming towards you.
Yeah, there are three varieties of them. And I'm not going to tell you which variety is which, but there is the green, the blue, and the red. And they all do their own different little things.
Oh, boy.
There you go. There's a teaser of some of the things you can find in the archipelago. There are many, many other horrifying things in there.
Any of my fellow table mates who happen to be watching or VOD watching, beware the lebradank.
Beware the lebradank. All of them are detailed inside that journal that Teffy has. I've already mentioned aspects of the horrors of the Silken Veil. Do not enter the Silken Veil. I had the glories, actually. Let me grab the picture of it. Because this is another... I'll give you another one. I'm too excited about the archipelago. I love this place. I enjoyed writing it. Here we go. Two of the pages of the book is nothing but mad scribbles.
Uh-oh.
Terrifying mad scribbles.
Is that what happens on the other side of the Silken Veil?
Different island, actually.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Alrighty. Oh well. How do you think? Oh, cool. What do you think of the major plot twist on Sunday? I say plot twist.
Plot twist. Remind me. Plot
Primordial.
Oh.
Dealings. Like the big thing that's happened recently.
So, the whole big primordial thing, I think, is a little interesting because it's like this whole time we thought the only divine problem we had to worry about was the gods, but it turns out that primordials aren't necessarily a problem, but it's like they're another element to the whole situation that it's like they're never gonna leave. Like the primordials are never truly going to leave.
They will always be around.
Just in what way?
Mm-hmm.
And then like how, because it was like how many, was it like 100 years it took for Cinder and who else to
Pestilence.
reincarnate? Pestilence, that's
yeah.
right. So I think it's really interesting because they have that capability of either reincarnating instantly or, you know, something happens that delays their reincarnation. It's like you've effectively taken out an entire element
Yeah.
for a brief, not brief, but I mean, in their time, it's brief. But even that time, that creates an era where there's not that primordial around to influence, you know?
Any dealings
And
or
so,
feelings.
yeah. And so I think that kind of, the plot twist of the primordials was really good. Kind of added.
Good. I'm enjoying...
Bigger base of possibility.
Definitely looking forward to the ties of... again, it's the attention to detail. A lot of it is also by the balance of what I know I've given you all, which is why I gave you all a bunch of docs at the beginning, so I know what you have for sure. So I know that you have enough information of understanding certain things that are coming. You should have enough information of understanding what's happening in areas. And then with Cinder being awful at explaining things, purposefully confusing things a little bit through his explanations, because he's terrible at that. And then trying to like help cover it by like, you just ask questions and he clarifies and answers completely honestly, clearly. He answers questions fine. He doesn't explain things fine. It's like incentivizing, like ask those questions. But the ties in of the primordials with the feelings to the history of what's happened in Nathriel through the past few hundreds or so years. Like what's been going on, and then if you tie it into aspects of, well, this primordial was reincarnated at this time, what happened? Like when Cinder was reborn, the world, it was a world war, but the world did not know it was at war. Every single continent was at war with itself, massive amounts of it, and he was reborn. Think about the other primordials, what's required with their tie-ins to their feelings, their emotions, to have them be reincarnated. And then you can start tracing it through events of the world. Pestilence came back during this event. Chaos came back during this event. There are others. Mystery came back during this event. Like the others have started coming back and tracing it through. But you haven't gotten all those details yet. That's why you're going to the archipelago. Try to get a trace idea of peace is an extreme. Nathriel's not been at peace ever since the Shattering. If they're back, everything is definitely starting again. And the primordials are back. That's why they're going for peace.
Age of the Primordials is truly a chaotic one.
It's great. I love it. I love making it
there's a
confusing.
reason why in old mythic tales the Primordials were the first to go. Because they're powerful. The Primordials predated the Titans in Greek mythology.
And in this
The
mythology,
Titans.
they predate the gods.
Yeah. Which is a
So-
nice touch.
Yeah. That was fun to say. I enjoyed that sentence. We outdate the gods. Oh. Felt good.
Because the gods you think are so eternal, you know? It's like, how long have they been around, you know?
With last campaign, us being like a major main focus of
On
the
the
gods, bringing them back into power, having another being come up to you and say, we outdate the gods, or we predate the gods, is like, what what just
Like,
happened?
if the primordials existed in last campaign, we would not have even been messing with the gods at all.
No.
Like,
No.
that's how
They
powerful
would have
the
been
primordials
happy.
are. Yeah.
Just been like, no, are you kidding? We'll take it this Ashnod. You're just one god. We can defeat you easily.
Yeah. You're a
Oh.
dinner mint in the entire palette of what it takes to make a feast.
You are that chocolate on our sweet pillow. That turned
A
out
nice
to be
touch,
a rat bone.
perhaps, but, you know, not the entire reason for your visit.
Oh yeah. No, I rented out the Pent Suite just for the chocolate. It's so good. I know I could go to the supermarket and get a whole box of them, but it's somehow better
Just
when
for
it's
that.
on your hotel pillow.
Hello, chocolate.
Oh, well, alright. I think we have reached close to the end of our times. Closing statements, closing remarks, thoughts, questions. Chatsky as well. You can catch up to our VODs on YouTubes. Go to our social tree. And hey, YouTube, we see you all there. How you doing? How's life? Give us a little tidbit. Just give us one good thing, one delightful little thing that's happened in your life. Give us a comment, and a like, and a subscribe.
Man, I gotta figure out what to play next on Benjigaba.
Ooh. That's right, because you finished the Atomic Heart. Let's give
Beat Atomic Heart.
Benjigaba. I'm so proud I know how to spell that.
Yeah, honestly, I was going to quit like about an hour before my stream ended last night, but I was like, I think I'm getting to the end. So I just kept going, and I'm glad I did, because then it was the end.
Finished in an hour.
I didn't do the classic, we end right before the end, and then we
Yeah.
play 30 minutes, and then we're
And-
like, oh, well, that's
Whoops.
it.
Well, now I gotta figure out what I'm doing next.
For an hour and a half as I quickly reassess.
What do you think I'll do?
I'm kind of torn right now because my original channel focus was retro gaming. Like my whole thing, like my slogan, I think it's, let me see. The official channel of Benjugaba, where lost gems are lustrous for all. And so it's like, I feel like I'm kind of letting that part down right now because I got a new rig and I want to like take it as far as possible because I'm like, I can play this amazing game and stream it at the same time.
What?
And so, I don't know. I've been checking out this, it's kind of like Elder Scrolls Dark Souls style. It's called The Lies of P. You play as Pinocchio.
Interesting.
Yeah. So I'm kind of like, okay, where can this go? Because when I very first tried to stream it, it was not running very well on my computer. So I was like, I don't know. Maybe we can still do that lost gem thing where it's like maybe a game you haven't really heard of.
Yeah, okay. I've seen the cover and I've heard small amounts about it. That would be cool.
And it's on Game Pass, so I don't have to pay for it. So.
Nice.
And that's largely what is guiding my decisions on what to play next. Is
It's
what
you
good
don't
games
pay
are on
for.
Game Pass. Because I already pay for that, so I might as well, go for games that I'm already paying for. So, but I don't know. I really would like to get back into the emulation stuff. It's just I find the nostalgia wears off quickly.
Yeah.
And it's like you have a series that you got to make, and it's hard sometimes to finish that series because you're like, oh my god, this game is. Old games are old games, and so I don't know. We'll probably find another game that we want to get into again, retro wise. But I think Lies of P might be next.
Nice. Yeah, retro games have that tendency, and if you grew up inside that Game Boy era, you would know
Mhm.
how much of a slog getting through one of those
Ugh.
games was.
Just
You
try
wanna-
playing Pokemon, like old school Pokemon.
You
Like
gotta-
even compared to current gen Pokemon, it's a
Mm.
slog.
Dark Souls at its truest was the Game
Mhm.
Boy era.
Yeah.
Everything was Dark Souls back then.
Yeah.
Oh boy. That's those games, they can be short. So they may only take, if you're a pro at it and you do it perfectly, it'll probably take like 40 minutes to beat each one.
Right.
But it'll take you 40 hours to grind through every single bit of it. They're fun to visit, tough to play.
Yeah. Man, you know what retro game I did complete? Not recently, but in the last year was Dragon Quest 3.
Oh goodness, yes.
Oh my
Oh.
gosh. Because they had a re-release for the Switch that kind of had the Super Nintendo graphics, and it had like semi-animated fight scenes and stuff like that, where like the characters didn't move so much, but spells would happen and the animations from the spells would go out. And I don't know, it was one of those ones, the games that like I played as a kid and I finished as a kid that I still wanted to play through and finish again. Because that's the problem that I'll have is like I have a game that I like blasted through as a kid that when I play it now I'm like, man, Sonic Adventure is fun for like one or two characters, but do I have to beat the whole game? Do I have to play Big the cat? Do I really have to
do
fish?
I have to do this? So that is the joy of being the youngest and
Mhm.
never getting to choose my own games, because I got to experience all of those sloggy games at the hands of one of my brothers who's incredibly talented at all of those sloggy games. And could
Nice.
do that. No, it wouldn't be 40 minutes, but it would be about an hour and a half, and he would beat it. So I would watch. That's also probably why I enjoy watching YouTube so much. Yes, I'm used to just watching people play games.
Yeah, I think when you grow up with siblings with video games and stuff like that, like there's just a natural sharing aspect that it's like you just it was either that or you go off and do something not as entertaining as watching someone play a video game.
Yeah.
It's like
throwing sticks at a bag of leaves.
Yeah. Playing outside as a kid was not as fun as it is now.
No. Oh, not that kids play outside these days anyway.
Oh, I
It's
know,
too much
right?
technology.
It's like you never see people outside anymore.
Actually, we were commenting on that on President's Day. There was no one out. No one was on the roads. No one was going anywhere. It was the quietest it's been in this area for the longest time.
Wow. You know, it was really quiet at work that day too. I was like, dang. It sucked that I had to work on President's Day, but
I did too. Yeah.
But I was like I haven't had like
any calls,
an hour or two where nothing happens in a while.
Weird. Well, shall we raid someone, and then?
Yes. Let's see who is online.
Yes. Indubitably.
See, D20 Deathmatch has one viewer right now. Dork Tales
They got
has
39.
37.
Oh, 37.
Yeah.
They're doing good. Goody Good Gaming, we did them a while
Radel Hans.
Good old Hans was on an hour before us. He's probably finishing soon.
Oh, yeah. Let's
he
see.
usually raids into us. I'm surprised he's still going.
Make this bigger.
You said D20 Deathmatch? Why don't I see them on my list? Let's do them. We haven't done them in a long time.
Yeah.
It's been a long time.
Yeah.
Since
Wait, they've been going for 35 hours?
That's why we haven't done them in a long time, because they're 24-hour streamer people. They just always go. I don't know. Because it always scares me to raid in, because I always feel like they're going to be ending soon, because it's been going that long. How do they
I'm just
do
like,
this?
jeez, oh lordo.
Oh, cheesy Pete. Let's do it anyway. Let's do
Let's
it
do
anyway and
it.
see what happens.
35-hour stream.
Well, thank you everyone for being here. We love you very much. Hope you had a hoot, and we'll see you next Sunday. And that's the same to you, VOD Squad. See ya.
May have closed for now. We hope you met a friend this go around. Tired and blurry you may be. We hope your minds are full from this revelry. Peace follow you out. May you return for more giggles and shouts.